students. So today we deal with the chapter that is solution. So in your last class you have learned regarding some of the colligative properties which mainly goes with the number of particles which is present in the solution. Okay, it varies. Some of the properties it varies with the number of the particles. So that we have already seen. So for the first property it goes with the relative lowering of vapor pressure just by in the sense when you add solute to the pure solvent, by that the vapor pressure will decreases. Okay, so to improve it, what you are supposed to do? So here we have considered the relative lowering of vapor pressure, which goes with the formula P naught minus T by P naught is equal to X2. So we can say the relative lowering of vapor pressure, it is equal to the sum of the mole fraction of your solute part. In the sense, second component, it mainly goes with the solute. Okay, so it is equal to the sum of the mole fraction of the number of solids. Sometimes different kinds of solids are present. So it goes with the number of solids. So that goes with this formula. And later you have learned with the graph, you have learned the concept of elevation in boiling point. Elevation in boiling point, in the sense what will happen, as you have learned, if you take pure solvent, so there it will be having vapor pressure more. Okay, when you compare with the solution which is having solid particle. For the same pure solvent, if you add solid particle, vapor pressure will decreases. It can be increased by increasing with the boiling point. This is by giving temperature, so that its boiling point also will increases. So when you compare with the pure solvent, if you go with the solution, that will be having higher amount of boiling point. So the formula it goes like delta TB is equal to TB minus of TB naught. So TB is nothing but boiling point of solution. So this goes with the boiling point of pure solvent. So when you will do subtraction with this, you will get the elevation in boiling point. Where we have learned the substitution of delta TB also, which is related with the molarity, and we have learned the concept of molarity. This is direct substitution of the molarity formula, where it goes with the ebuloscopic constant. Okay, so it is related with the direct proportion. You are writing in terms of ebuloscopic constant, that is known as AB. Okay, and later you have learned the graph, that is depression in freezing point. So by the graph you can identify. So the difference if you take with the pure solvent, okay, the freezing point of pure solvent as well as freezing point of solution, if you consider, this will be having more of freezing point pure solvent, okay, than the solution. Okay, and here also you have when you related it with the molarity, by that time you got to know that goes with the cryoscopic constant Kf. Okay, so that is nothing but cryoscopic constant, and by using of that formula you can calculate sum of a depression freezing point. Okay, so the next qualitative property that you will be learning, that is nothing but osmotic pressure. So before going with osmotic pressure, you should know what is meant by osmosis. Okay, osmosis in the sense what? For example, now dry grapes, it will be dipped in water. You might have seen at home, or dry grapes, your mother, they keep in water, they soak in water. By next morning, what will happen? The grape, if you check, that will swell. Okay, why it is so? Because their movement of the particles, in the sense solvent, can be seen through a membrane. Okay, so your that grape, whatever is there, so that will be having certain membrane. Through that membrane, the solvent molecule, in the sense your water will enter to the grape. Okay, so now osmosis means what? The movement of the particle will be seen, in the sense movement of the solvent from low concentration to high concentration. Okay, through a semi-permeable membrane. So that will be considered as osmosis. So what is mean by osmosis? Write down: movement of solvent from low concentration to high concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. You should go with the membrane. Okay, so this is must. You should have a membrane. Then only you can say it is osmosis. If you are not writing this, it goes only with the diffusion. So movement of solvent from low concentration to high concentration through a membrane, if it is taking place in the sun, then you are going to call that as osmosis. Okay. So now, whenever this osmosis will take place, the movement of solvent can be seen low to high concentration. So what will happen? The semipermeable membrane is nothing but it will be having pore. Okay, so it will be having small pores so that only the solvent can move. Solute won't, because the solvent particle size will be smaller when you compare with the solute. Okay, so only solvent can move through that membrane. So for that reason, we are just learning over here like movement of solvent can be seen in this osmosis. So that is regarding osmosis. So next we will go for osmotic pressure. If you understand osmosis, this is very easy. Osmotic pressure, the pressure which is applied to stop the osmosis, that will be considered as osmotic pressure. Now I take a beaker. Okay, two beakers I take. So here one beaker I take. So here one more beaker. Okay, which will be connected with each other by a membrane. Okay, consider here I am having membrane. Okay, so now consider here our applied pressure. Some applied pressure is there. Here also applied pressure is there. Now consider in any one of this will be pure solvent. Okay, one will be a solution. So consider this is a solution and this is your solvent. Okay, concentration where it will be more. In the case of solution, it will be more. So from where to where, singular solution you have to take and your pure solvent you have to take. So this is nothing but your semi-permeable membrane. So movement of the particle, how it will be seen if it is osmosis? Movement of the particle, understand, solvent can be seen from low concentration to high concentration. Okay, so from low to high the particle will move. So solution concentration is high over here. So we started moving from low concentration to high concentration. Till where it moves? Till it moves till it attains equilibrium. Okay, it moves. The movement of particle will be seen continuously till when? Till both will attain equilibrium. So till then the movement of particle will be seen. Now to stop this osmosis, now you want to stop the osmosis. What can be done? To stop the osmosis, you are going to apply pressure. Okay, by using a piston, you just apply the pressure. Okay, where? Here. Okay, in this part you just apply pressure. By that this osmosis procedure will get stopped. Okay, so now osmotic pressure is nothing but the pressure is applied to stop the osmosis, will be considered as osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure you can write pressure is applied to stop the osmosis. Okay, so that will be considered as osmotic pressure. So now if you want to stop this osmosis, you have to apply pressure. So this I just represent that osmotic pressure in terms of pi. So if I will apply the pressure over here so that the osmosis will get stopped. Okay, and if you are writing relation of this osmosis, what you can write, say osmosis is nothing but, now it is related, your osmotic pressure, see till now we have learned all the qualitative property, it is related to molality, right? Now here, this mainly it goes with the solution as well as solvent. So osmosis mainly it goes with the solvent, right? So here movement of the particle will be seen from low concentration to high concentration. So mainly it deals with the concentration term. Okay. So concentration term in the sense, instead of using molarity which goes with the mass, we can go with the molarity which goes with the volume or which goes with the concentration. Okay. So better we use molarity. So we can write osmotic pressure, it is directly proportional to the concentration term at constant temperature. Okay. So it is directly proportional to your concentration as well as at certain temperature. Okay. Constant temperature, this will be done. Okay. So this we can also write it as pi is equal to C into RT. Okay, so this I am just removing. You can write RCT also, you can write, no problem. So here what I am writing is this proportionality constant I am removing. Instead of that gas constant I am writing over there. Okay, so gas constant will be taken R into CT. So now this you can expand. So pi is equal to C, R into, what is C? C is nothing but your concentration term. C is nothing but your molarity. Okay, So it goes with the capital M, molarity. C is nothing but molarity, which is related to the concentration. So now that you can take molarity formula, how it comes. Molarity is nothing but number of moles of the particle. This is number of moles of solute divided by your, what is that, mass will be there, right? So that you are supposed to consider. So number of moles of solute divided by volume. So concentration term in the sense you are supposed to go with the constant, the volume of the solvent. So it goes like, so W2, number of moles we can write it as mass by molar mass, right? W2 by M2 into, if you are taking volume in terms of liter in the sense, that only you can use, or else if it is there in the milliliter, multiply by 1000. So this is for solvent. So this is the formula, so that you can utilize for the purpose of osmotic pressure. Okay, so osmotic pressure you can measure with the pipe where it goes in R into W into 1000 divided by M2 into V1, where W2 represents mass of your solute. This goes with the molar mass of solute, and this goes with volume of the solvent. Okay. So now, this using of this osmotic pressure, it is the best method to find out some of the molar mass of your protein, as well as some cells, as well as your blood cells and all. So there, if you are finding molar mass, you can go with this, the concept of osmotic pressure, because mainly it deals with the number of particles, okay, which goes with the colligative property. So if you are dealing with the number of particles, then we are explaining the concept of colligative property. So now here, this osmotic pressure, as I said, it is the best method to find out molar masses and all. Why it is the best method? Because whatever the values you are finding, so those values are easy to measure. Okay, by using of formula. Okay, so it is easy to measure, and the thing is, whatever the values you will get, osmotic pressure, the values you will get, so that will be a larger value. Okay, bigger value you are going to get. So it is easy to calculate also with the bigger value, and you are going with the molarity concept over here. Okay, in the sense, mainly you are going to deal with the volume of the particle. See, osmotic pressure mainly it goes with the concentration, right? So if we are taking molarity, in the sense if you are taking mass, so it will be difficult to find the values. So because it mainly it goes with the volume as well as concentration. So for that reason we are using molarity. So it will be easy to find with the volume as well as concentration. So instead of molarity we are using molarity. So which is the best method to go, in the sense to find out anything under osmotic pressure. So for that reason, mainly to find out molar masses and all, we will be using this concept. Okay, molar masses in cells and all. To we are using this osmotic pressure. Now next we will go for classification with the osmotic pressure. Okay, so generally it is having three types. The first one is known as isotonic solution. Okay, so three kinds of solution will be seen over here: isotonic solution, hypertonic solution, and hypotonic solution. Hypotonic solution. So these are the three types. One is known as isotonic solution, and another is known as hypertonic solution, and third one is known as hypotonic solution. So now I will just give one example. Now you have a cell. Okay, cell in the sense, you know, cell is having some amount of what is that, fluid will be there. Okay, so this also having fluid. So inside the cell it is having fluid. Outside the cell you can find the saline solution. NaCl solution will be there, right? Okay, so consider this is a system where you are having cell as well as inside fluid will be there. Outside NaCl solution will be there. So now consider, I am just giving one example. Now inside fluid percentage, osmotic pressure is 0.9%. Okay, inside fluid osmotic pressure is 0.9%. Outside fluid, that is nothing but your saline solution. So that also shows osmotic pressure with the saline solution. So both the solutions. Okay, so now we are taking two solutions. In these two solutions also osmotic pressure is same. So then we are going to consider as isotonic solution. If A and B, two solutions are there in the sense, the pi A, osmotic pressure of A as well as osmotic pressure of B will be equal. If it is equal, then that kind of solution we are going to consider as isotonic solution. Same example you can give. So inside as well as outside osmotic pressure will be same. Okay. So then we are going to consider as isotonic solution. So this is regarding isotonic solution. And next we go for hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution in the sense that one of the solution will be having higher concentration than the given solution. Same example I will take. Now you have a system. Okay. So in this system, cell is present. Okay, as well as outside cell. Inside fluid is present here. Outside you are having NaCl. Okay, saline solution is present over here. So consider the osmotic pressure of inner cell, that is 0.9%, but saline solution. Okay, so it is having higher concentration, hypertonic in the sense one of the solution. Okay, so one of the solution should be concentration should be in the sense osmotic pressure should be higher. So now this is having higher osmotic pressure. Just one example, just consider this is having 0.15 of osmotic pressure. So when you compare for this is having higher osmotic pressure. Okay. So you know concentration is like here it will be less, here concentration is high. So osmosis in the sense movement of the particle will take place from low concentration to higher concentration. So here movement of particle will be seen like this, so that the cell will shrink. Okay. So all the movement of particle will be seen, the sense solvent will be seen through higher concentration. By that time the cell will shrink over here. But here what will happen? This already it is there with the same osmotic pressure, it is equal, now it is an equilibrium. Okay. It will not go for osmosis procedure only because of both the concentration is same. Okay. Both the solution or the whatever concentration we are taking, so that will be having same osmotic pressure. Okay. So here one of the solution is having higher osmotic pressure than the given solution. So you can write hypertonic as one of the solution is having higher osmotic pressure than the given solution will be considered as hypertonic. Okay. Next I will go for hypotonic. Hypotonic in the sense here one of the solution is having lesser osmotic pressure than the given solution. So again I take the same system. Okay. Cell will be taken. Now here NaCl is present. Inside the cell you are having fluid. Okay. So consider that is having the concentration with 0.9%. And the outer cell, in a sense outer fluid, which is nothing but your saline solution is having 0.7%. So here, whatever the solution you are taking, so that solution is having lesser concentration when you compare with your other. Okay, the given solution when you compare this will be having lesser concentration. So that from low concentration to here, in a sense, the particle solid movement can be seen, so that this particle in the sense this cell will sweat. So if it is having osmotic pressure, if one of the solution is having lesser osmotic pressure, when you compare with the given solution, by that time this will be considered as hypotonic solution. So you can write one of the solution is having lesser osmotic pressure than the given solution will be considered as hypotonic solution. Okay. So here it will be considered as hypotonic solution. So these are the three types: isotonic, hypotonic and hypotonic. So the next concept that you are learning under this, it is known as reverse osmosis. Okay. So it will be considered as reverse osmosis. So now this osmosis will be having applications. Okay, main important applications. It is present in the reverse osmosis. So this is important topic. So here osmosis, osmotic pressure as well as reverse osmosis. These three are important. One like definite question will come under this concept. Okay. So now what is mean by reverse osmosis? I take example in the sense I have told this is having main applications. So that main application is nothing but desalination of water. Salination of water. Desalination in the sense that saline amount, in the sense salt amount will be removed from seawater. So that will be done by reverse osmosis. So this is the major application. Application is very important. Okay, they'll ask what is the reverse osmosis. I mentioned the application of it. By that time you are supposed to mention the desalination of water. Now here if we consider here a system. Okay. Now this is the system. Okay. So now in this is nothing but your semi-permeable membrane. Okay. So now here it is nothing but you just take your fresh water. Here you take seawater. Okay. So now what will happen? First osmosis procedure will take place. Obviously here solvent concentration. Okay. Regarding based on osmosis, what will happen? The solvent concentration will move from low to high. Here concentration will be high. So it will move from solvent will move from here to here to a membrane. Okay. Through a membrane you can see the osmosis procedure first. Okay. So that is nothing but osmosis. Now to stop the osmosis, what you will do? You will be applying pressure. Okay. So from here just apply pressure so that the osmosis procedure will be stopped. That will be considered as osmotic pressure. The pressure applied to stop the reaction or to stop the osmosis will be considered as osmotic pressure. So now what you are going to do? You are going to deal with like reverse of osmosis. How it will be done? Now you have to apply the pressure more than osmotic pressure. Whatever the pressure you will apply, so that should be more than osmotic pressure. Okay, much more than osmotic pressure. So if you apply more than osmotic pressure, the movement of solvent can be seen in reverse order. Okay, so it will be seen in reverse order. So now here what will happen? All solvent will be moved from here to here. Okay, from this concentration to this concentration, movement of the particle, this is reverse of osmosis will be done so that it will be stored as fresh water and it will be removed. So here only the saline particles will remain. Okay, so for this purpose, whatever the membrane you are using, that is like most of the time cellulose membranes will be used over here. So what is the nature of cellulose membrane? It will leave or it will formate only water molecule. Okay, it will formate only solid molecule. It will not allow any kind of saline condition. Okay, as well as it will not allow ions or electrolyte also. Okay, so only solvent will move from this side to here. So reverse of osmosis will be done by using of high pressure. So how we can write what is meant by reverse osmosis? Reverse osmosis is nothing but the pressure which will be applied more than osmotic pressure to conduct reverse osmosis. Okay, to conduct with the reverse osmosis. So that will be considered as reverse osmosis. The application is desalination of water. So this is the major application as I told. Why it will be used? It will be used for the purpose of removing of saline from the water. And here majorly it goes with the cellulose of semi-permeable membrane. So which will leave only water, not ions as well as electrolyte. Okay, for that reason those kind of membrane will be utilized over here. So that will be considered as reverse osmosis. So next we will see some of the problem under osmotic pressure. So we go with the problem. So 200 cm cube of an aqueous solution of a protein contains 1.26 gram of protein. The osmotic pressure of such a solution at 300 Kelvin is found to be 2.57 into 10 to the power minus 3 bar. Calculate the molar mass of protein by giving R value also. Okay, so now what you are supposed to do given in this diagram? 200 cm cube. See, according to formula, pi is equal to W2 RT divided by M2 V into 1000, right? So now what is mean by like W2 as volume? See, volume they are given as V is equal to 200 cm cube. Now, of an aqueous solution, protein contains 1.26 gram of protein. So that is 1.26. Okay. The osmotic pressure of such solution at 300 Kelvin, that is temperature is 300 Kelvin is found to be osmotic pressure they have given, that is pi value also they have given, that is 2.57 into 10 to the power minus 3 bar along with the R value also. Now we are supposed to find out molar mass. In the sense M2 you have to find it out. M2 you take it this side, pi you take it here. Okay. So the values will come like the formula is just writing out first. So M2 is equal to W2 into RT divided by pi will come here, pi V into 1000. Okay. Volume it is not there in terms of liter. Okay. You are supposed to convert into liter. This cm cube we can convert into liter. If you don't want to use 1000, you can convert here itself. Okay. 200 cm cube you can convert into liter. So how that conversion can be done? You know, 1 liter is nothing but 1000 ml, right? In the same way, 1 cm cube is equal to 1 dm cube is equal to 1000 cm cube. So 1 liter is nothing but 1 liter is equal to 1 dm cube. So we can write this as, see, 1 liter is nothing but 1000 ml. Okay. Okay. Now if you want to, you can write this also. 1 liter is nothing but it is equal to 1000 cm cube. Okay. Now how much we want? 200 cm cube, in the sense how many liter. Okay. Cross multiplication so that you will get 0.2 liter. Or else, however, you multiply by 1000, right? Here also you will get the same answer. So just substitute over here. M2 you need to find out. W2 is 1.26 into R value 0.083 into T value 300 divided by pi value, that is 2.57 into 10 to the power minus 3 into volume that they have given in terms of cm cube, 200 cm cube. So multiply by 1000. Okay. So whatever answer you will get, calculate this one. So you will get answer around 61,038 10 to the power minus 3, right? When it goes up, it comes as 10 to the power 3, right? So now you can transfer, see 3, right? So transfer the point over here so that you will get 61,038 gram per mole, because you are finding M2. So this is the value. Okay, on this way you are supposed to calculate your osmotic pressure. So next we will continue regarding abnormal molar mass. So what is meant by abnormal molar mass? Whatever the molar mass is, so either it will be lower or higher than the expected or the normal value. Okay. So when we do calculation, okay, according to calculation we will expect some of the values. Okay. But when we do the experiment, we won't get the same value. It can be lower or it can be higher also. The values can go lower than that, or the values can go higher than that also with what we expected. Okay, so that will be considered as abnormal molar mass. So molar mass either lower or higher than the expected or normal value will be considered as abnormal molar mass. Now, a scientist known as Van 't Hoff, he wanted to find, he wanted to know how to find the accurate molar mass of your solute in a solvent. Okay, he wanted to know how to find the accurate, exact mass of your solute in solvent. Okay, so because he said, when we go with the reaction in the sense, most of the time it can go with association or it can go with the dissociation of the particle also. So dissociation in the sense the particle will get split, okay, and association in the sense some of the particle will combine. For example, now we will go with the example of your dissociation. Okay, so where it goes with the dissociation of the particle, just one example I will tell. Okay, now if we consider NaCl, sodium chloride is added to water. Okay, so it will get dissociated as Na plus and it get dissociated as Cl minus and formation of, okay, in the sense Na plus as well as Cl minus will get dissociated. Whatever the main ion we use, that started getting dissociated. Separation of the molecules will take place under some of the reactants. Okay, some of the solute will get dissociated. Some of the molecule, what will happen? It started dissociating, it started combining one another, and formation of, you have learned in 11th standard, formation of dimer and all will take place due to the same thing. Okay, association of the molecule will take place. So one of the example if I give, I can give with the association, right? Okay. So association example I can give as benzoic acid when it is mixed with the benzene. By that time a dimer formation will take place. So benzoic acid, it will be having its formula, okay, structure with this order. So C double bond O with the OH. So this is one benzoic acid. It combines with another benzoic acid, solute, right? Okay. So it will combine with another benzoic acid, COH double bond O. So here formation of bond will take place. So this is nothing but a dimer formation. So association of two solute, okay. Association will take place, combining will take place, and formation of a single molecule will take place. In this form, how to find out the accurate mass of the substance or accurate mass of the solute in a solvent, whether it is possible or not. Okay, so that the concept was introduced by Bantoff, and he said, okay, by giving ith factor we can find out the accurate mass of any of the solute in solvent. So he has given with the factor known as I, and he said with this factor we can identify the accurate mass of your solute in solvent. So that ith factor, how we are going to measure? If we are deriving with the colligative property. Okay, so here we have seen many like 4 colligative properties we have seen. So if you are deriving the colligative property, by then this formula we are supposed to use. So that goes like observed value of colligative property divided by normal value of colligative property. Whatever we will observe by experimental as well as what by calculation, what is the value we get. So that will be considered as normal value of colligative property. So this ratio when you take, you will get ith factor. If we are dealing with the molar mass, okay. So by seeing molar mass, we have to find out what is the accurate molar mass of solid. By then, we are supposed to use this formula. It goes like normal molar mass divided by observed molar mass, because your colligative property, it is inversely proportional to your molar mass. Okay, colligative property, it is inversely proportional to molar mass. In a sense, this will get inverse. So it comes as normal molar mass divided by observed molar mass. Normal molar mass in a sense by calculation, as well as observed in a sense by experiment. Okay, so that is nothing but observed molar mass. By this also we can find ith factor. And one more term, when we go with the number of particles. So sometimes, as I said, it goes with association as well as dissociation. So when we go with the number of the particle, we are supposed to use this formula. It goes like total number of particles after dissociation, or sometimes if it goes with association also, the same concept. Okay, divided by the number of particles before. Okay, so here this is before dissociation, and this is after dissociation. So this you have to take it up.